Well, let's talk about KPIs. I know that for most companies, KPIs are a crucial thing. You are always asked how you measure things. Whenever we do something, we are asked how we can measure progress and success. And yeah, so I think it's time to share my 5 principles of KPI usage in HR. And in this session, I would like to start with the first 2. My first principle I want to share with you goes like this. Basically, everything in HR could be measured and expressed in terms of KPIs somehow. Everything can be measured, everything. I used to ask my students in the lecture, is there anything related to HR, anything that we have touched during my lectures that we cannot measure? I mean, really not. And I've not yet found anything. So, I mean, with some creativity, some fantasy, you always find ways to have indicators or whatever. I mean, I'm a social scientist, so I have learned how to measure even the most weird thing. But here comes principle number 2. In most cases, measuring things is rarely valid due to lacking conceptual definition of what is supposed to be measured. That is a contradiction to the first principle. It says you can measure nothing really right. Really not. Maybe some things, but these are just a few things. I mean, let me give you an example. You might say, okay, every year we measure the amount of applications we get. Okay, amount of applications. That sounds simple, right? A number of applications. You should know this. So please define application. What is an application? Do you know what an application is? No, you don't know. Because what is that? You might say, well, an application is something that was submitted through our e-recruiting system. Okay. How about all the other applications that reach you over other channels? If I send you a message via WhatsApp, hello, I'm Armin, I would be interested in a job in your company, would thank for further information. Is that an application? Where does an application start? Where does it end? There is no definition. How would you define cost per hire? My God, that's incredibly complex. What falls into this category of cost per hire? Okay, all the costs for job ads, that's for sure. The costs for executive search, okay, fine. But how about the opportunity costs of all the hiring managers that spend time during the interviews? Oh, that's complicated. You rarely can measure this. So, is there anything else? I mean, we can talk about really anything. And even that's funny. I mean, even the question of how many employees do you have? Okay, as a company, you should know how many employees you have, right? That's for sure. In your annual reports, you report some numbers, and it all sounds very solid. But please define employee. What is an employee? I mean, in different countries, we have different definitions of employees. We have totally different kinds of employment relationships. So, what is an employee? It's very hard to be measured. I know some HR directors who could not tell me how many employees they have. That surprised me. So sometimes I really think, before we think about big data, we should get the small data right. But that's incredibly hard.